Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is a screenwriter's rant on the Instigators, starring Matt Damon as a dude who's out of money and forced to rob some politicians during a convention in order to save his family, and teams up with a bunch of wacky guys to do it. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 14. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So, I'll be at the Gloucester Township Farmers Mart today from 4 to 9. So, come on out to Veterans Park in Clementon, across from ShopRite. Okay. So, this is another Boston movie for Matt Damon. Where's Ben Affleck? I think it's Casey Affleck's the other guy, right? Isn't that Casey? So you got the lesser Affleck. But it's a comedy action thing. I'm not sure I like the setup all that much, because Matt Damon is going to a psychiatrist and complaining about his woes. It's on Apple TV August 9th, rated R, for adult situations. So he is, I don't know, I guess he's just a blue collar guy who decides to resort to crime, or maybe he used to do crime. It's not very clear. Also, the crime's not very clear, which is kind of a mistake in the trailer. The crime, I think, should have been very clear, because the focus is not the heist. The focus is the fallout of the heist. So, first act, Matt Damon has lots of problems. Lots of problems. He goes to a psychiatrist to sort them out. And he comes to the conclusion, I don't know, his Boston job, his blue-collar Boston job, ain't gonna do it. So he recruits, I don't know, this dude, and Casey Affleck, who uses a kid in order to start his motorcycle, because he has one of those breathalyzer things. And they decide they're going to rob a stadium during a convention, a political convention, I think. And I don't know, somehow they have the inside scoop. So they decide to commit the robbery, the three of them. But like, Matt Damon doesn't know what he's doing. At one point, Casey Affleck is like explaining to him what to do, and he's taking notes, which is the joke. Yeah, that seems a little too far afield for the joke. That seems very unrealistic. And he says, quite rightly, hey, you're taking notes for a criminal conspiracy. From the director of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm going to assume that's the Ving Rhames is in it too. I'm going to assume that's the movie and not the TV show. From Doug Liman, and the Bourne Identity director, comes an action comedy. So I think the pacing is going to be good. It looks good. The music's good. Seems to all move forward. It's just like the details aren't great. So, I don't know if it's going to hold together. I guess Ving Rhames is a cop. I don't know if he's in on it too, or helps them. I don't see how Matt Damon escapes cleverly in this, other than that the guys they rob, and Alfred Molina's in it too, and so's Ron Perlman. So there's like a million people in this damn thing. You know, back in the day, this would have been a pretty big movie. See, look at all these names. Matt Damon, Casey Affleck. It is Casey Affleck. Hong Chow, I assume that's her as the psychiatrist. Michael Stolbarge, I don't know him. Walter Hauser. Is he a Wings Hauser relative? Ving Rhames, Alfred Molina as the real bad guy. Where's Ron Perlman? Oh, there he is. With Jack Harlow and Ron Perlman. So Ron Perlman isn't in it all that much. So, yeah. You know, it looks like the kind of thing they would have done back in the day, and it would have been huge. You know, it would have been in theaters. It would have been a big '90s movie, a heist movie. It would have had a lot of advertising behind it. This feels like they're trying to do that, except they're not quite getting there. And I think it's because the details are just being dropped out of this trailer. It's very important, the actual who they're robbing. Like, that's crucial to this thing. Because if Matt Damon's the good guy and you're going to have some sort of ending where he escapes after wrecking police cars and doing all these illegal things, you want to have him be justified in robbing the people he's robbing. Now, I think they are. It kind of implies that in the trailer, but it doesn't state who, and I think that's crucial in this. So, first act, Matt Damon has all the problems. Second act, he decides to, for whatever reason, he has a connection just randomly to this stadium that's hosting a political party. I don't know if they're going with generic political party or if they're going to beat Trump over the head for 30 minutes, but I kind of gonna guess right out the gate that Ron Perlman jumped on this so he could do something about Trump. But it doesn't show that. I'm just speculating. So they robbed the place, and most of the second act, the beginning of the second act is a robbery. The rest of it is them escaping and dealing with the fallout of actually succeeding to rob them, as there are bigger bad guys who want to get to them before the cops do. And in that, somehow they're going to get away. Somehow Matt Damon is going to turn everything onto the guys who are trying to kill him, and they get away. And the psychiatrist is in on it too, because basically the psychiatrist volunteers to be their hostage. So it's pretty complicated. I don't see how they, some of this, I get it, it's an action comedy, you got some suspension of disbelief, but there seems to be like, you've sort of set it way too high. I don't really see how in this day and age these guys just wouldn't be shot by the cops for a myriad of reasons. And you could say, well, there's plenty of movies like that, and I'm a big fan of the Blues Brothers, but the Blues Brothers was made at a time when technology was lessened. They could get away in a car chase. These days, in Boston, it seems nigh impossible. Unless they had something other than their blue-collar sensibilities. And that's the other thing I kind of don't like about this movie. It's like Matt Damon going back to the well for that blue-collar Boston mystique in order to explain this stuff. Feels a little old. Feels like old hat. When Ben Affleck did it in the bank robber movie, that felt very authentic. Now, this is an action comedy, so it's a different kind of movie, but it's not ringing true because, I don't know, he's just... The setup's just not realistic enough for me. So would I watch it? It's on Apple TV. I think I have access to Apple TV. I haven't bothered to hook it up. Maybe for this reason. It just, nothing coming out of Apple TV excites me enough that I can get up the gumption to hook up my Apple TV. So, like, I literally have had the box here for I don't know how long, and I can't get motivated to bother to figure out how to hook it up. And one of my relatives, can hook me up with like a password or whatever, but I just look at it and go, well, if it was on, I'd watch it. If a group of my friends said, hey, you want to go see this movie? I'd go. I mean, it looks fun enough. It should probably be in theaters because it's sort of a spectacular on the screen. It would be better in the theaters. I would be willing to give it a little more leeway because it's sort of a fun group thing that you'd go see, and even if it didn't live up to the expectations of the plot or whatever and the realism, you could say, oh, that was a fun scene. Oh, that was cool when the guy jumped the river or whatever. You know, for a movie on Apple, I don't know. I want it, when in comedy action, I feel that if you're not going to go for the comedy, in which case it's just a comedy movie with action in it, if you're going for the action and then it's also funny, it has to have at its core a realistic expectation. And it feels like this crosses a couple of lines, and you're probably just going to watch it and go, well, yeah, they're going to win in the end. So, I don't know. Let's read the write-up if there is one. Nope. But the cast is good. Back in the day, this would have been a draw. These days, do celebrities draw on anybody? Maybe a handful. Maybe a handful at this point. Yeah, here it is. I guess it's the mayor running for office. But, Damon looks like he's doing his Damon thing. They don't seem particularly smart when they pull the heist. Feels very old school. Feels like they should be smarter about that. They should have a couple of high-tech gadgets. Here's Alfred Molina, who decides they gotta kill them. I mean, I guess there's another crime on top of the crime they're committing. So, alright, that's it for me. Tony D and Little Joan somewhere in the background. Thanks for tuning in. I will be at the Gloucester Township Farmers Mart today from 4 to 9 p.m. in Veterans Park in Clementon. That's right across from the ShopRite. Hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.